Three, two, one. Are we live? Oh, hey, we're live. There's the yellow button. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to the year-end review of the Bamf podcast. And we're going to mock Jason Towndero mercilessly because he was going to join us, but he got a more important phone call 30 seconds ago and left. So, ooh, Jason. And your silly beard. So, hey, we're going to talk about what's the best and worst of 2016. And we have a wide panel. Well, actually, it's most of the same guys with two newcomers. David Oakham, who's been here before. How you doing, David?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
And I guess we should introduce you as the guy who's the head of Oakham Arts. And let's see, Save the Day is kind of your flagship game, right?
Yes, and Dark Fast Dungeons, which is a print and play dungeon crawl game, GM-less game.
All right, cool. Well, welcome back, David.
Thank you.
Jonathan Thompson of Battlefield Press International, who's been here before. How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing well.
All right. And you're here to talk about a Kickstarter we'll bring up towards the end of the podcast. And thanks for joining us.
I'm glad to be here.
And we've also got Aid Smith. Hey, Aid.
Hello.
Billy Yard. Hey, Walt.
Hola.
And last but not least, Christopher McLaughlin from Green Ronin. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. I'm just like Charles Nelson Raleigh on Match Game. I just hang around. I just never leave, pretty much.
Circle gets a square.
All right. Well, since you're being all sassy, Chris, what was your favorite movie of 2016?
New film. I almost want to say Fantastic Beasts because I enjoyed that so much more than I really thought I was going to when I went into the theater. But I can't walk back any of the great things I said about Civil War back in May. I still think that's just I just think it's a good film, and the fact that it's a really good superhero film in addition to that, I think is just gravy. So I think it's a fabulous work of cinema, especially in the modern language of film. I think it's an extraordinarily good film.
So what'd you like about Fantastic Beasts? Because I haven't actually read many reviews.
Well, I have to admit the whole kind of Potter thing kind of left me cold because it's about children, of which I have none. It's about near as I could tell from only having seen about half the films, it's let's break all the rules for the special kid, which is also something I can't relate to. And, and it's fantasy. And, it's well known that I was born without the fantasy gene. I don't get it at all. But here we go. Here's a Potter film that's in a retro setting. It's in a very, very, very well realized 1920s setting. And right there, I'm like, ooh, you got my attention. And that's just such a wonderful framework to weave so many wonderful elements around. Like it talks about the 1920s in ways that make sense within that universe, like the strictures that America has between magical and non-magical people consorting with each other. It's a great way to comment on the racial politics of the day in a way that's fresh and new. This is a story about adults, so right away I'm much more interested. And rather than it being about the perfect boy, it's about a group of fuck-ups. And anytime your main group of characters is a bunch of people who are just you're just barely getting by, just kind of getting by on luck and faking it. Was that playing me off like at the Academy Awards? Is that my wrap it the hell up? Is that it?
No, you're good now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I mean, I identify with it, and and if I wasn't already hooked, they make reference to the main character's experiences as being a magical guy during World War I, and just magical World War I. Hello, there you go. Now you have my interest. And I'm hearing rumors this whole series is going to culminate in Dumbledore punching Hitler. Right there. Okay, you've sold a ticket. I will pay to see young Dumbledore beating the crap out of Hitler. I'm a score.
I would have to see that. Now, if you like magical World War I, Jonathan and I did a book about 5 years ago called Kaiser's Gate, which is about... I
saw it, and I absolutely love that game. That's one of the rare books that's come along in the last 20 years that made me want to play again.
Wow. Well, I didn't know you'd read it. Okay, wow.
Yeah, loved it.
Shit, I am humbled. I'm gonna have to drink some caffeine just so I can be sassy because I'm in awe that you read something. That I wrote. That came out so wrong. I'm sorry. Forgive me. All right. So Fantastic Beasts. Anyone else see it? Anybody else have input on that? Nope. A lot of silence.
It's on the list. I haven't had a chance.
Okay, that's cool. What was your favorite movie this year?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was my favorite. Marvel Civil War was I'm gonna have to agree with Chris. Was one of those like landmark movies, but I had. It was one of those things where you felt all the tension on the screen all the time. So it was much more an experience than just shove a bunch of popcorn in your mouth and just sit back and giggle. Whereas Doctor Strange, I giggled through the whole thing. So that I'd have to say that was my favorite. As far as like some of the other stuff that's kind of like fringe, Netflix has been doing some amazing things.
Black Mirror. Black Mirror.
Yeah, like Black Mirror. They just released a movie 3 weeks ago called Spectral, and about 10 years ago, a Japanese company released a Final Fantasy movie that was like soldiers versus ghosts, and the way they did it was all CGI, and it was really monumental for the time. When this Spectral came out, it was marketed as much the same thing, a special ops team against a group of ghosts, or what you think are ghosts. The effects were amazing. The tactical movement and response of all of the actors were very, very well done. Lots of good on-screen chemistry between the actors and actresses. I mean, for a Netflix 2-hour movie. I sat there the whole time in silence, never once wanting to get up or go to the bathroom, or I was totally immersed. So, when you have stuff like that coming out of a studio like Netflix, rock on, bravo, way to go. And I think I killed the conversation. After that, everybody's asleep.
No, I was talking to you. Actually, I remember the best thing I saw on Netflix this year, and obviously it was Luke Cage. I think that's just David's thing to talk about. But The Get Down, it was a Baz Luhrmann miniseries that Netflix had, and if you like The Warriors, it kind of looks like it's all cut scenes from The Warriors. If you like Baz Luhrmann, you really got to see it. It's really amazing. If you don't like 70s New York stuff and you don't like Baz Luhrmann, you really shouldn't watch it because you're going to hate it. But I really just enjoyed the hell out of it. Hey, David, so we talked about Luke Cage. You said before the show that was your best thing of 2016. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, I was thinking about, when you mentioned Netflix, I thought about Stranger Things. I thought about Luke Cage. I thought about The Dwarfanaut. Movies, that I'd watched, or shows that I'd seen on Netflix.
What's The Dwarfanaut?
Dwarfanaut, that's Stephen Pokorny's story. It's a documentary on the Dwarven Forge guy, the terrain, D&D terrain guy. And basically his Kickstarter and how his Kickstarter was put together. And plus it was basically his life. And it's a very sympathetic story, and it talks about Gary Con, talks about, the role playing and the culture of role playing in a way that I've never seen in a movie before.
How haven't I heard about this? I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, Dwarfanaut. And if it's on Netflix, I've seen it elsewhere as well, but that's where I saw it, and I thought it was quite enlightening. I really enjoyed it. I was friends with him on Facebook already, so it was kind of neat to see what he was up to and what he was doing and how he ran his Kickstarter. Having run 2 Kickstarters myself, it was kind of eye-opening, and he gave me some ideas of how to actually do it properly.
So they did a documentary about a successful Kickstarter that fulfilled its promises.
That's a gift in this day and age, I guess. And I'm still working to fulfill my promises, but I've got the basic games out, and I'm doing all the. It's all of the stretch goal stuff for me. That takes the time,
Stretch goals are the bane of Kickstarters. Yeah, it's.
But also the fun part of Kickstarters. For me, it was the interactive aspect of it. So I don't mind. I'm enjoying doing everything that I'm doing with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But so I thought of Dwarfanaut off the top. Stranger Things, of course. But Luke Cage for me kind of jumped into the front of my mind when you mentioned the top of 2016. I just liked the realized version of a superhero that I was really taken with as a child, and really didn't get all of the social commentary that was going on at the time. But years later, we came to understand and respect it. So really, really appreciated the live action version.
Yeah, we did a whole podcast just kind of rhapsodizing about how much we love that. So I'm definitely on board with you on that one. So hey, they're doing a sequel to Stranger Things. How do you feel about that?
I think there were a few missed opportunities in Stranger Things. I'd like the story to be a little more complex and less linear. I think there were some things that they were hinting at that could have been a bit more mysterious, I guess. Maybe I'm thinking I'm spoiled by the X-Files and the fact that they had no idea what they were doing, but it was awesome. And they didn't know where they were going with it. And that kind of let us fill in the details with our imagination. So I'd like a little bit more of that opportunity in the next series, I think.
Yeah, I don't really know if a sequel is necessary or a good idea, but I'll probably watch it when it comes out. So.
I run a role-playing game club at my high school I teach at, and we had a lot more kids coming out because of Stranger Things in September than I'd seen in a long time. So normalizing in the media is, it's one of those things where people hear about it and they want to play. So it's always a good thing.
Did all of these students who came out, did they all want to fight the Demogorgon?
They wanted to know more about it, and I said, well, that's pretty rare. It's up to the GM to what they would do. So yeah, I've got a couple of kids playing now that weren't playing before, and they're really enjoying it. So I think and they're finding the genres they love, which is also great. They don't always have to do fantasy, so they're learning that's a bigger field than they had thought originally. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Aid, best to worst 2016. What do you think?
Are we talking films, or are we talking everything in general? Or?
I'm just saying everything. Do you want to talk about film or TV or comics or movies? I know you hate Deadpool, but anything else you want to talk about?
You are correct. I do hate Deadpool. That's very, very true. Films, as you well know, I don't see many films. I just let them go. They just go past me, like little bullets.
Comics.
TV series. I'll give you a TV series I actually watched. This is a rare. I watched all of the episodes of the Preacher TV series. I actually thought it was pretty damn good.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I liked this comic so much I didn't want to see it because I was afraid I'd just keep comparing it the whole time. But you say it's worth checking out.
I only read a few of the issues of the actual comic itself. I think the first 5 or 6, and the Saint of Killers miniseries, which I really liked. My friend, she read the lot, and she said, "Yeah, there's similarities. There's also differences, but you can see what they changed and why." And I thought it was really, really good. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's cool.
It felt like a proper grown-up TV show compared to other comic TV shows, which tend to be kind of glossy, actiony kind of things. It could, if you didn't know it was a comic, it kind of stood in its own right. It was pretty decent, yeah.
All right. So, best comics of 2016. Future Quest?
Future Quest is pretty damn good. That's not too bad. That's ticking along. I'm really loving Doom Patrol because it's Doom Patrol and it's back, so thank God for that. Everything else is pretty much there's. I think Secret Wars, I think, just edged in slightly at the yellow, which I think was really good, but a missed opportunity for a lot of Marvel stuff because they could have got rid of a shed load of stuff and kind of gave it a bit good restart like Rebirth did. Really did. Rebirth stuff was pretty good. Some of the books coming out of it aren't brilliant. Some of them are pretty damn good. It's kind of a mixed bag at the moment. But just glad to have a decent Doom Patrol series back.
All right, that's cool. I would suggest that maybe Mark Waid's front run on Black Widow is also worth checking out in terms of best comics of 2016.
That's apparently that's on the way out though, isn't it?
Yeah, they planned it for a short run.
Yeah,
like they did Young Avengers.
It's annoying because I've studied the forums and they say miniseries don't sell. To me, if I know I'm committed for 6 issues, but it's going to be a damn good 6 issues, I'm happy. Rather than saying it's non-going and then after eight issues or whatever, it's been cancelled. Because then you think, well, did they cancel it halfway through a story? Did they just cut the? And I'd rather see a decent miniseries.
Yeah. Well, apparently that's what they did with Young Avengers a couple of years ago. Was they just said, Young Avengers is always canceled after a year, so let's just plan a 12-issue run. But
yeah.
So yeah, it's really good if you can cut it out. And I would say a Squirrel Girl, but pretty much every episode I say you should be reading a Squirrel Girl. So I can leave that one alone. So have we talked, Walt? We touched on you, right?
Yes, you touched me. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Damn, my foot's just living in my mouth right now. Okay. Hey, Jonathan, best or worst thing of 2016? What you got for me?
Oh, I don't know. I was not enamored with Luke Cage. I think I got through about 8 episodes and go, well, it really should have ended here. I mean, I watched it all the way through, but I think it went on way too long for the story arc. And I'm a big Luke Cage fan, so, you know, I went into it thinking, oh, great, Luke Cage. I love Luke Cage. And I wasn't, you know, happy. I mean, I'm also the person that took me, you know, 6 months to watch Jessica Jones. So I got bogged down like halfway through it and going, well, this is sucks, but I'm going to finish it anyway. I loved Doctor Strange. I also was a fan of the Suicide Squad movie, which makes me, I think, in the minority. It really entertained me. And see, I only go to the movies to be entertained. I don't go to pick it apart. So if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And, you know, I hate people sitting here trying to convince me to do the opposite of whatever it is I've decided. As far as comics, the last thing I read was the Rebirth core book, and I haven't even caught up from there. But I like that, and I like the direction it was going. So I guess I can see what that is like when I finally get to catch up.
Okay, cool. And you are running a Kickstarter, correct?
I am.
You tell us about that?
Sure. It's called Sisterhood of the Blade. We have 12 authors, including Eric Scott DeBee and Ed Greenwood as part of the team. It is set in 17th century France. 3 women have come together and are acting as the Queen's Guard. It's kind of like the Three Musketeers, the monster Three Musketeers exist in the world. They're just, you know, not the focus of the story.
Can you tell us a little bit about the 3 women?
Well, you have. Let me pull up my notes. Give me a second. Okay. You have Amy, who is a French woman. She's a master tactician. You have Lady Marlette, who's an African pirate, and a woman who is Japanese with a katana. They act as handmaidens to the lady. It exists after Marlette's husband has passed and is, you know, they're now, you know, doing their thing. There's a lot about it on our Kickstarter page. So there's like 12 paragraphs about it. But yeah, I've already got a Greenwood story in, and everybody that's involved is using his story as the basis of theirs. So, and I'm really excited to have it involved.
Okay. And if you Google the phrase Kickstarter and Sisterhood of the Blade, it's the first thing that comes up, so it's easy to find. It looks like you guys are about halfway there.
Almost. We got about halfway to go. So we're running it ends at 7 o'clock on the 5th of January, 7 a.m.
Okay, cool. That's a pretty bold move, running it over Christmas. So my hat's off to you. I would have been too scared to do that.
I think I don't even think I thought about Christmas when I launched it. I thought, oh, this is a good time. All our other projects are done.
All right. Well, cool. And if you're familiar with Jonathan's other work, he did the Double Spiral War adaptation from based on the novels by Warren C. Norwood, and as I mentioned before, Kaiser's Gate, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. We could.
We just recently finished putting Ninja High School based on the comic from Ben Dunn to bed. So
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys stay busy over there.
Definitely, I like being busy.
Oh, it's good. It's good. All right. Well, cool. So check out Sisterhood of the Blade on Kickstarter. Looks like it's a fun project. And speaking of fun projects, Mr. Oakham. I don't think I got an introduction that's going to do your project justice. So why don't you just tell us about Grammar World?
It was a big joke. It was a typo. My friend, we were planning a big Gamma World game on a regular game night, and he typed Grammar World instead of Gamma World. And it just stuck with me, and I just thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and then finally I made a fake cover. So I made this Grammar World cover with these old ladies in front of Walmart there, or Ballmart as I call it.
Bamf.
And it
And
just,
for the listeners at home, that's BAAL, Mart.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it just spiraled out of control into this. I don't know what it is. It's a post-retirement adventure game, and basically it's like Golden Girls meets Scooby-Doo, and there's crimes to be solved. There's Krampus. There's Chupacabra. Fire trucks.
Oh, Lord.
Sounds like a bad
That must-
time at the retirement community there. Yeah.
So, I mean, let me just, is it a post-apocalyptic retirement home, or is it just seniors fighting supernatural threats in their golden years?
Well, the whole thing is that the world has changed so much. It's like people have emerged from a vault, and the world is so different. So these seniors are now re-engaging with the world at the community, in the retirement communities, and everything's so different. So there's figure out technology roles are very important. Anything made after 1980 is a puzzle. Any technology that's before 1980 is great, but once you get in a car, how do you start it now? There's a button to push. You don't understand the things. There's golf cart chases. There's meds. So instead of sanity rules, I have meds rules. And when something happens to you, you have to make a meds roll. And then they have side effects and other things that can happen. So there's a lot of an influence of Gamma World in the sense of what mutations are, but I call them conditions. You start out with pre-existing conditions, which are not always pleasant. And I think the thing I learned about writing this game after talking to my mom, who's 83, is that getting old is not for wimps. So the character creation process, I guess it is kind of like Traveler. I don't think you can actually die during character creation, but you could die leveling up. So that's it's meant to be a fun game. It's meant to be a little crazy. My favorite thing in the book is the table at the end and the back. What's in Nana's purse? So you get you might find some Scotch mints, but it's a 50% chance that the Scotch mints are actually mothballs, right? So it's like that. It's that kind of game. Yeah.
Okay, so it's what rules engine are you using for this?
This I'm using Swords and Wizardry. So you could theoretically have orcs from Swords and Wizardry invade the retirement community and have to defend against the orcs. I wanted something that everybody could just pick up and play, something that was friendly, something that was like the original Gamma World, but had its own flavor. And I just wanted to have something that I could just pick up with my friends and play really fast. Yeah. So that's So that's Gamma World. It's like I said, it was started out as a joke, and then suddenly it was a real thing, and I put it together much faster than I thought I would. I've been working on other projects as well. Some paper minis. I've got 4 sets of paper minis, which should be coming out over the holidays.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So I mean, with that and this, it's been nonstop, and I'm getting married on Christmas Eve.
What? Congratulations.
I know, and I'm hosting Christmas Eve, so my 2 families are going to be here for Christmas anyway. So we thought, yeah, let's just do it. So everything's happening at once. I'm a teacher, and marketing is happening, and it just was. Life's been crazy, but it's been a lot of fun this past 2 months. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, that's great, and wow, you're never going to forget your anniversary.
It's exactly right. So it's built in. So, and the present's like a twofer, right? So
That's true. Wow. That's economical. So just for anybody who might not know, if you're living in Iraq, Swords and Wizardry is part of the OSR movement. It's a white box D&D clone. So going old school with the Grandma World, which I guess is appropriate.
And I was sorry, I was very excited that the new white box had come out and it had kind of brought some of the rules together in different ways, included a few things that were missing in the original white box that came out a couple years ago. And the Swords and Wizardry Kickstarter also had raised more interest in Swords and Wizardry, and even my students are talking about OSR now, which is amazing. The 16, 17-year-olds are learning about this. So I'm very excited that and about just how compatible it is with everything. So you can just pick something up and go with it.
Well, I have two questions, and I'll ask them both at the same time. You can answer them however you want. Number one, what kind of classes do the grandmas play in Grandma World? And number two, have you considered getting a group of grandmas together to play this game?
Those are two really good questions. I was talking to some grandmas not too long ago about playing, and they just looked at me like I had fallen off the back of a truck or something. They had no idea what I was talking about, and so I was like, okay, maybe not. So maybe I can wrangle up some grandmas to play, but that might be a fun YouTube video. In terms of classes, it's like kind of like Gamma World in the sense that you're playing a senior citizen, and in particular, a grandma. So you're choosing your conditions, and everybody's on the same playing field, but there's so much variety of conditions that everybody's very different from each other. So there doesn't feel like there's a lot of overlap. And my players were very funny when they're rolling up their characters. They wanted to make sure they all had different conditions, and so that there weren't, two characters who were incontinent. They wanted to have, they wanted to spread that stuff out. Yeah.
All right, but I mean, it's not like you have one fierce grandma and one sneaky grandma, and
well, the conditions you roll kind of create a class on the fly, and so it creates this neat mix of abilities and weaknesses that create a fairly individual character for it. So I gotta admit, some of the rules that I had created for a game I did called Anime Hack, some of those rules spilled over into this game. In terms of character creation. Now they're specific classes in Anime Hack, but I wanted to have a sort of a generic character type that you would then be unique to each player. So that's pretty much it. You're basically making up a class as you're going.
Okay, wow, that sounds pretty cool. Maybe I don't know if we can come back to do a playtest sometime. That sounds like that could be a lot of fun. We still never did a demo session of Save the Day, which that's we're superhero podcasts and that's a superhero game. So
sure, yeah, and I've done some actual play YouTubes of that. And I should do more, but it's a lot of fun to play. That game is a very quick, fast running game, and it's nice to show that when you're actually doing an actual play.
Okay. Go ahead.
The game itself sounds cool. It actually makes more sense because when I saw it on RPG Now, I thought it was about English language professors. I thought it was Grammar World. I thought, what's this about? How's that working? This makes more sense.
Yeah, that could be another spin-off game, but conjugating verbs and
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so our playtesting has been a hoot. It's been a lot of fun. Our main thing has been this magic snow globe that has appeared. I wanted to start the series very similar to St. Elsewhere in the sense that everything could possibly be inside the snow globe. So I'm building this plot outline based on this sort of cursed mystic snow globe that's causing problems. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So in terms of threats they're fighting, it's a lot closer to, say, low-level X-Files as opposed to high-level Call of Cthulhu kind of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I do have Krampus is in there. He's very tough. And I do have basically a Cthulhu elder god that could be summoned. And the stats are written in there. It's like 20 hit dice. It's pretty amazingly tough for Swords and Wizardry. So the whole point is to not let the people summon this monster because this thing's just going to wipe out the whole community. So I'd like to see a group of really high-powered grandmas take this thing out, though. But one day.
What's spectacular? A group of high-powered, high-level grandmas. Just saying that out loud is just made me gay.
That is the best gaming goal I've heard since we were hanging around the Green Ronin booth joking about going for a total party kill in Blue Rose.
Yes, well, it would be very fun to get some characters to get that level. The unfortunate thing is that as you get in upper levels, there's only 5 levels for grandmas. You gain more pre-existing conditions, so you age. So you get a bad back. You could all these things could happen to you. So it's not for wimps. Not for wimps.
Now I got to know because I come from a very diverse ethnic background. When you have the conditions, do they span the range of this particular grandma might be verklempt, but if you have one of my grandmas, she might have agita. or is it are those just labels that get tacked onto a condition based on where they're from?
Yeah, that could be a label that can modify a condition. I don't have that officially in the rules, but as you read the rules, there are certain things like where grandmas can give you the stink eye or the evil eye. If they give you the stink eye, you can't attack them. Like, there's nothing you can do to attack them. They stare you down, and there's some that make you feel like nagging, guilt trips. So it runs the gamut of what you can do. And as you're making up your character, I have a random grandma name chart in the back too that might help you decide what ethnic origin of your grandma is, right? So it's a lot of fun. I really I had a hoot researching it.
And what's more dangerous, a walk assisting device with or without the tennis balls?
I think that's exactly it. I have the one drawing I have is wheels, and somebody said, why aren't there tennis balls on this thing? Wheels are dangerous. So maybe that was a misstep on my part, but I think the tennis balls, you could pick them up and whip them at people. I think that would be good.
Oh my God, that's awesome! This game writes itself.
So yeah, and it just started, like I said, started as a joke, started as a pun, and just blew up. And I got James Ward kind of interested in it. He's been very busy, too busy to do any writing for it, but he's been very supportive, and I appreciated that, getting that from him. Yeah.
Well, cool. There's a Jessica Fletcher joke I want to make here, but I just can't put it into words. So,
yeah,
cool.
I don't know if you know much about old school Gamma World, but the first module, G1, Legion of Gold, it should be Legion of Golden Girls, I think. That's what so it's going to be like a select group of seniors that go adventuring. I think that's going to be the first adventure. Yeah.
So do we have romance rules?
Gosh, I don't know. There's
All right.
there is seduction. One of the conditions is seduction, or grandma still has it. And you actually you have to make a roll, but you also have to shake what your mama gave you. So I couldn't resist putting that one in.
That's beautiful, David. I don't know what to say about that. That's just awesome. All right. Open table, best, worst, most notable 2016. Who's got something? Chris, you got something?
Well, it's been several months, but at least for me, I don't think the cinematic atrocity that is Batman versus Superman has cleared my nostrils, or theaters for that matter. I can't fathom how anyone could take these great characters that people from George Reeves all the way up to Adam West have done great things with, and continue to produce some of the absolute worst films made in any genre. I don't know if we ever talked about this in there, but there was the leaked memo from inside Warner Brothers, where some exasperated employee working for Warner Brothers was just going off on how, normally if you make the donuts and you continue to fuck up the donuts, eventually they fire you and they stop letting you make donuts. And Zack Snyder ruins film after film after film, and yet he somehow continues to get to make the donuts. And I'm just as baffled and appalled as the person who wrote that memo. And it wasn't even my job on the line when his films tank. So I really just, as somebody who's invested a lot of time and effort and love in DC, and wanting these films to be, to fight their way up to mediocre, at least, is that too much to ask in a world where Marvel is just owning it? And just being continually not only disappointed, but just absolutely appalled to my core at the, it's just really, really, really impossible for me to completely accurately verbalize how much I hate the DC movies and everybody who's associated with them in any way, shape, or form.
I have to agree.
But you're looking forward to Aquaman, right? I love Aquaman. What the hell?
I once got the flu, and getting out of bed stepped on a nail that went 2 inches deep in my foot, and I enjoyed that more than I've enjoyed any DC movie.
Okay, but did you see that little video they had with the guy playing Aquaman throwing the hatchets?
It seemed to buzz across my news feed, and I don't know. I don't know what's up with modern cinema goers. Are they a point where, well, Zack Snyder said this time he would change. You know, if I go see his next movie, it'd all be different. You know, I don't understand the people that continually want to see any more DC Comics films. I just, you know, maybe time to get a help, go to a shelter or something, you know, where Zack Snyder can't hurt you anymore.
Wonder Woman looks pretty good.
Well, now, when you have a film that's lower rated than Tommy Wiseau's The Room, you've kind of got nowhere to go but up. But for whatever it's worth, the same disgruntled DC Warner employee who wrote why does he get to keep fucking up the donuts? She included a line in there, and wait till people see how terrible Wonder Woman actually is.
Oh, okay, that's good then.
So I don't know. I obviously don't know, but that just kind of makes me wonder if this isn't a film where, you know, it's, you know, the trailer has done a good job of disguising what just and really, okay, I mean, I have to admit I'm a little skeptical that even though Snyder is just I think he's taking a producer credit or something like this. I'm just a little skeptical that the guy who did Sucker Punch really gets what makes Wonder Woman a hero worth believing in and following. Well, you know, I could be proven wrong, but we'll see.
You know, I'm going to stop making slow jokes about Jason Momoa throwing tomahawks and mention that Justice League Action has come out on Cartoon Network, and the clips I've seen on YouTube look fun. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out yet, but it looks like it's looks like it's a return to form for Warner Brothers Animation on that stuff.
So DC did something fun with their heroes. Well, somebody's fired.
Shane Glines did all the character designs for that, and he's been revealing them on Facebook, and they're just amazing. I love his work. His work in Batman Beyond and his work in the original series, Batman series. He's got a great legacy, and his character design is some of the best, I think. So I really like.
Yeah, I'm looking at his design for Hawkman right now, and it just looks, you know, the head almost looks like Iron Fist. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. I've only seen like a few minute-long clips on YouTube, but they're short episodes. They're like 10 minutes each.
Well, God bless anybody who's doing anything that in any way reminds me of why these Depression-era characters still matter to any degree.
Well, you might give it a look. I mean, there's a lot of stuff free on YouTube. You can just get the flavor.
Well, I work for the government. I got plenty of time, so.
Educating young minds, they'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of downtime associated with that, you know.
I understand. All right, so best, worst, most notable 2016. Jonathan, you got anything off the top?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Well, let me open it up. Aid, Dave, Walt, you guys got anything?
See, I think I had a better 2016 than most people have. So.
Yeah. I'm going to try and end it well. Bowie dying kind of gutted me, gotta admit. I responded to that by working on a game of Cosmic Rockers, which I haven't finished, but want to do something with it one of these days.
Cosmic Rockers?
Cosmic Rockers, yeah, sort of 1970s, everything from, you know, Afro punk to glam rock and Kiss and all that stuff in a science fiction setting. You know, I thought that might be kind of a fun spin-off book for White Star, you know, which is a swords and wizardry white box science fiction game. So it might be something I still work on. I've got a lot of things to do first, but it's been in the back of my mind since January. Yeah.
That sounds like fun. I mean, it kind of sounds like 70s Vandar at the RPG, which I would totally be down for.
Yeah, it could be a fun game.
Yeah. Aid, how about you? Best, worst, most notable?
I think biggest disappointment I can think of in comics that I came across was Dark Knight 3.
I couldn't bring myself to read that. How was it?
It's not great. And the worst thing is, it's exactly the same story as what was running Justice League, exactly the same time. So with Kryptonians coming back. So, and then obviously you get the Miller artwork for the little mini comics, which look literally like he's spent 5 minutes doing them. There's absolutely not supposed to be any effort whatsoever put into them. And considering I adored Dark Knight original. It's just such a disappointment. Such a disappointment.
You know, if they were doing a movie trailer for that, they would have to start it with like the deep voice going, "From the people who brought you before Watchmen."
True. But yeah, shame. But again, he's almost disowned it. He's almost effectively said, "Yeah, this is kind of a story that may have, but I'm doing Dark Knight 4, so Dark Knight 4 is going to be better." So, you know, give him a couple of years, and he'll outdo himself, I'm sure.
Could that be Could that wind up being pop culture's first instant reboot?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. I think so. We've still got like 2 issues to go, and again, the worst thing is it's the momentum's just literally just got leapt out of it, because as soon as you get delays, that's it, gone. Even you can't remember what happened to the last issue, let alone what the actual plot is. So it's just like terrible, not good at all.
So, Walt, best, worst, most notable 2016.
A lot of indie comics, good stuff in indie comics. Star Power is been amazing. It's a web comic that these guys have been pushing out in graphic novel form through Kickstarter, and they have some of the best titles like Star Power and the Search for Black Hole Bill, and all that kind of jazz. So I mean, that's been really, really awesome. I'm a big like Alien fan, like the movies from the 70s, 80s. And there's a guy doing a comic called Judas Breed that's just phenomenal. It's a throwback to that kind of deal, and his character and especially his creature designs are very creepy and very very fun. Valiant Comics, huge shout out to Valiant Comics. Ninjak as a character made interesting and less purple, so that was amazing. The Faith comic has been really, really great, and not just so much that it's written very well and it's got a little light heart to it by the way it's written, but it's very inclusive, so that you're not intimidated by the character, and it's much like Squirrel Girl. It's very easy to get drawn in to her story. So that was really cool. All the stuff from S17 from Andrew Lorenz coming out of Canada has been amazing. Another great one, especially with Rogue One coming out. The best tagline I have heard about a science fiction comic ever: when the Death Star blows up, or some jerk blows up Alderaan, who's going to clean up the goddamn mess, right? And there's a guy out of Boston, Bob Sally, has a comic called Salvagers. We've interviewed him on the show before. Great comic, and he just launched a web comic for free, Shelter Division, about like if you like X-Files and stuff like that. So all of those creepy supernatural creatures that Mulder and Scully always went after, there's a secret government agency that like keeps them on the down low and protects them, and then sends them out to investigate other creepy, supernatural nasties. And it's kind of like BPRD but on the down low. So I mean, there's so much good stuff coming out, especially in the indie scene, that is just blowing my mind lately. And I just, it's almost like it's a tragedy of riches, because you only have so many hours in the day. There's only so much bandwidth to go around. I mean, there's so much good stuff coming out, and Kickstarter's making stuff more available. The access to creators through things like Facebook, and especially Facebook Live. One of the guys that I follow regularly, he's getting ready to release another issue of his mainline comic Phantom Hawk. Nick Garber, he does Facebook Live drawing nights on Fridays, where he gets absolutely obliterated on whiskey and cigars while he's drawing full-blown comic book panels, and interacts with his fans.
Hey, I want to get drunk and interact with our fans. We got like 12 guys who watch this show regularly.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
We could do like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Just get like shit-housed and watch. What would we watch? Highlander.
You can watch Highlander.
Batman versus Superman.
Batman versus.
I don't know if I can live through that.
Of course, the problem is we do these pretty early in the day. It might be hard to, get drunk at 3 PM, explain to my wife when she comes home. But it was for the show. I had to. I have a commitment. So, goddamn, we've been talking for an hour about 2016, and no one has mentioned Rogue One.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be going to see it. So, good times.
All right. Well, maybe we can talk about that next week or something. So, all right.
Let's do it. Let's do the Rogue One episode.
All right. So it is about 6:30 Eastern time. I know you said you had to get going, Walt. So
yes, I have.
All right. Let's go ahead and anything else we want to touch on? Anybody?
We have a Patreon for the Bamf podcast.
We do.
So we should probably talk about that.
Go to Patreon, Google Bamf Podcast Patreon. He'll take you right there. We're covering our server costs, but hey, it'd be nice to maybe buy
a new headset.
A new headset, or get everyone Bamf jumpsuits, or just spread the love. And I like jumpsuits, Walt. I don't care what you think. Something in a nice purple, classy. So
yeah.
So check out our Patreon. Tell your friends about our podcast, because goddamn it, we're funny. We're smart enough people like us. Oh hey, my best movie of the year, Nice Guys, with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, by Shane Black, who was the guy behind Lethal Weapon. That's a funny fucking movie. You should check it out.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I got. And no one else has anything. I think we should go ahead and wrap up and call it a podcast so Walt can go do whatever he's got to do. Everybody good to go?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for everyone coming out, and we'll catch you next time on the Bamf Podcast.
Thank you.